Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy to see so many of you. This is the biggest group we've had so far. I think 26 people registered, so hopefully there'll be people that will still join on as we go along. I think everybody's in a safe zone as far as load shedding goes. I don't think anybody falls in this time period, so maybe that helps. So today we will be having a presentation by Ancois on effective networking. I don't know if any of you has watched Ancois' interview. She was one of my featured practice owners. Can I get a show of hands if anybody's actually watched that episode? No? Okay, so do go and check that out, because when you watch that interview, you'll understand why I've asked Ancois to come on and talk about networking. Cara is in the waiting room. We take me in. Yeah, so it's just she's going to be sharing some of the tips on what networking is. I know a lot of health professionals hate this idea of networking, and I think she's going to debunk some of the myths around what networking actually is, and give you some tips on how to do it, in a way that's not like, doesn't feel icky and sleazy or anything like that. But I think networking is really important, as most of you know, that word of mouth is probably the most effective form of marketing, but it's getting to a point where word of mouth has momentum, because it's no point saying, oh, word of mouth is the best form of marketing when you're starting out, or you've never actually really built up a base of people that can actually be a source of referral. And networking is one way of doing that. So that's why we've chosen that topic. But without further ado, I don't want to waste any more time. Ancois, please feel free to take over. I'm going to mute myself. You can share your screen, and you can take the wheel. And then at the end, we'll just connect again afterwards.
Good. Can you see my screen? Good. All right, let me just put off that is fine. Sorry. Hi, ladies. I don't think there's any gents, but hi, ladies. Tash, thanks for the opportunity to speak to you today. I think networking is very, very important, and so few people actually know how to network effectively. So you are here because you know that networking is important and you want to learn how to do it better. So when I first presented this topic, it was for the SA Council of Businesswomen. So I'm a biokineticist in private practice, but I was involved with the Businesswomen Council for a while. And we've got many events that we had all over South Africa. So monthly events that they was, and then people would, I find so many go to these events, but they don't know what to do at these events. So they don't know how to network effectively. And that's when I started to present on this topic. So obviously it was women more from different business sectors and industries. So healthcare networking might be a little bit different, but we'll talk about that today. And obviously we had in-person events where COVID stopped that a little bit. I find that the healthcare professionals, obviously we don't have so many events in person, and it would be great if you can do that. I would definitely support something like that. But I find that most of the healthcare professionals, apart from the COVID aspect, network online. We've got a network group, we're almost 100 therapists on the group locally. So we actually did events before COVID. So we would organize an event, 2 or 3 professions would present on their profession or what their practice does, and we have opportunity to network. But for the most part since COVID, and for many other healthcare professionals, we tend to I'll get to the socialize. We tend to network online. So it can be with the social media, the WhatsApp groups, the private practice growth club, Facebook, and meetings like this. Obviously, it's a little bit harder to effectively network in a virtual setting versus in person. So, but that's where I started with this topic. All right, so networking is not just about connecting with people. It's about connecting people with people, connecting people with ideas, and connecting people with opportunities. So I think we sometimes stop by, no, it's just me connecting with someone and having referrals, but it is actually connecting other people and people with ideas and with opportunities. I love the whys. All right. So first of all, why would we network? It is rich in opportunities to meet new people, to meet people in your industry, to meet people that can be potential business partners, to grow personally and professionally, and you can have fun with it as well. It's a great way to get to understand the marketplace. So when you network, you can learn and get some crucial intel on your competitors as well as your clients' needs. So, for instance, I would have been at an event and not a specific healthcare networking event. And then I heard this person say they just can't get to the physio because the physios close at 5. So then I find out what may be a need for, obviously I already work after hours for classes, but then you find out this is a need for the clients you may see. Also, I met with an orthopedic surgeon a while back, a new surgeon in town, and they dropped something crucial about my competitors, which was a great opportunity for me to learn what they don't like about this competitor. It was not like in a gossip setup, but they just dropped it, and it was great intel for me in my area. Then also to give and get advice. It's a great opportunity for that. You don't just have to get advice or give advice. You can do both. And then there is an added benefit of friendships. I was at an event once and 2 people I know, but they didn't know each other. They met and then they said, oh, my word, they want to be friends. They don't care about this networking stuff. They like each other so much, they want to be friends. So there is an added benefit of friendship where you meet like-minded people. So, sorry, what is networking? What is it not? It is not a social gathering. And I think that's why many people struggle with this, or they don't get the results they want from networking because they socialize instead of network. The 2 things are different. It's not a short-term investment. So many people say, I'm going to this network event today, and that's it. That's just today. It's not a short-term investment. It is about relationships and a longer-term investment. It is not about getting likes and followers. And very important, it is not all about you. There are mainly 3 network. There are many network myths, but there are 3 main ones that I usually address. The first one, you have to meet everyone. Otherwise, it was an opportunity wasted. The second one, you have to make a sale. I call it a sale, but it can be a referral, get a job, get an employee, anything like that. But let's call it a sale in general. And you need no strategy to network. So let's look at the first one. You have to meet everyone. That is one of the biggest myths probably. So on our WhatsApp group for the networking in our area, I'm in Secunda, so we've got quite a large amount of therapists and doctors and specialists for our small town, actually. But on the group, we're almost 100 people. So if I add all the doctors and specialists that are actually not on the group, then it means that's about 150 people. So I have to meet at least 3 people every week for the whole year just to get through all of them. And it's not impossible. You can do it, but it's actually a lot of time out of your practice and time that you can see patients. So in general, there's basically 3 people I want you to meet. And you can do it on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis. You can decide how you want to do it. This was initially focused on an event specific. So at the event, but we can apply it to meeting people one-on-one as well. So first of the 3 is an ideal client, or if you were looking for a job or an employee, an employer. So ideal client is someone whose problem you can solve with the services that you offer. Not everyone will need your services, and that's okay. So for me, so I'm a biokineticist, if I want to meet ideal clients, that won't be at this event necessarily, although anyone can benefit from biokinetics. I would need to go to CrossFit, for example. So I'm not a big fan of CrossFit, lots of injuries from CrossFit, but my ideal clients will probably be at CrossFit. Or when I started my practice 12 years ago, I played hockey for the Sasolmed Club. So there as well, I met many potential clients with injuries. So my sister's a speech therapist, so if a speech therapist might need to be involved more with a school, or be involved at an old age home where there might be speech issues, or people who had strokes at hospitals, for example. So you will need to find where will your ideal client be. This is not the most important one now for us as healthcare professionals. Obviously, we want clients, but you need to be involved in areas where your ideal clients will be. Even if I don't like CrossFit, it's beneficial for me to go to the CrossFit, join the team, exercise there, and get to meet people who are my potential clients. So just on a side note with potential client, or what I do to stay in touch with clients, those that are already clients, I've got a broadcast list. So with their permission, I put their name on the broadcast list. What is just important is that they have to save your number actually in their phone. Otherwise, they won't get the message, even if they're on the list. And every Monday, just after 8, I send a message, whether it's a motivational message or a picture or tips for the week to exercise or a reminder to exercise. That's just one of the ways I stay in contact with even clients that I haven't seen for a year or two or pre-COVID, for example. And then important to follow up with clients. So even if I haven't seen them or they didn't need my service in the last month, it's a great way just to every now and then just check in, see, are you doing your exercises? Is there any new problems? Do you want to come just for a checkup to see how you are doing? Measure your weight or your height, your weight, blood pressure, whatever in terms of that. So just as a side. But that's the ideal client. If you want to network with ideal clients, you need to be in areas where your typical client will be. Then the more important one, I think, for us as healthcare professionals and the ones we network with is a referral partner. So a referral partner is someone who is in direct contact with your ideal client. So me as a biokineticist, a doctor will be in contact with my client, a physio might be in contact with my client, or is usually an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor maybe. It doesn't mean that's the only one. So because I've had people who have drooling problems, and then the moment the speech therapist sent them to me, and we strengthened neck muscles, and the drooling, in her case, then changed. So it can be different ones. But for example, for me as a biokineticist, usually if a patient goes to the doctor with a painful shoulder, painful back, or something like that, they usually refer them to the physio first. So the doctor is not my ideal link in terms of a referral partner if I have to spend time on meeting many people. The chiropractor might not be the ideal one for me, and then the orthopedic surgeon, usually after the operation, they always send to the physio first. So my ideal referral partner would be a physiotherapist. And then if time is limited and I can't meet the doctor and the chiro and the orthopedic surgeon, it's good for me to spend time on the physiotherapist in our area. Not all of them. You can focus on one or two. It's great if you know everyone, but it takes up a lot of your time to meet everyone. So the referral partner is also someone who can offer a service, maybe that you don't offer, a product or a service that you don't offer, or that can meet your client's needs that you can't offer. The third person to meet is, and it can be more than one, is a mentor or a learning partner. That's very important. It is, like we said, isolated in the private practice, especially if you work alone and you don't have other people in your profession, in your company maybe, or in your business. So getting people, it can be in the same line of work. So it doesn't have to be a biokineticist for me. It can be a psychologist or a speech therapist or anyone like that. But it can also be someone from the same field as you. It's someone who can help you grow and personally and professionally. Someone you can trust, someone you can use to share your challenges, just to be like a soundboard or like a devil's advocate. So the myth that you have to meet everyone to network, busted. Networking events are ripe with opportunities to learn about your contacts, your clients, and your competitors. To make the most out of your conversations, picture the people who would make great clients, referral partners, and mentors. Let's look at the second myth. You have to make a sale, get a referral, get a job, get an employee at that network event. That is a bit of a short-term mentality. And like I said, networking is not a short-term investment. So you need to be a little bit more open-minded in this journey of networking. So if you think every time, if I go to the physio today and I meet with them to network a little bit and they don't send someone to me, it will destroy my confidence if I think every time I meet with them, I need to make a sale or get a referral. Networking is about relationships. So don't expect just after that first meeting that you will just work together immediately. It's very important that you see networking as this long-term investment focusing on relationship. It's an opportunity to first give and then receive. So if I went to the physio, met with a physio, there's nothing stopping me from first referring to them a patient, getting that relationship started, giving feedback about this patient, and then before I expect them to actually send to me. Now, in terms of the physio, chances are higher that a physio will send to me than me back to the physio, although I believe working closely with them, even if the patient is rehabbing already with you, but it is always an opportunity you can send first before you expect someone to send to you. And then it's also an opportunity to sharing resources, articles that you've read or interesting things about the field. You can do a business a little bit later, but you can also share resources at that network event. Talk about some controversial topics or something that's happening in your profession at that stage in the news. All right, so the second one, that you have to make a sale or you get a referral, get a job, get an employee, busted. The third one is that you need no strategy to do this. How many of you came to today's session and you had no plan? You just joined the link and you joined. That's it. You didn't have any plan with regards to the networking. Most people think like that, and probably all will raise their hands if I say, raise your hands now. So how many of you know a coach that went to the finals and didn't have some kind of playbook or game plan? So what is your game plan when you go to network events? You need a plan. You need to execute that plan, and you need to follow through. So first, the myth that you need no strategy, busted. So the next one is a 5-step strategy I use when I network. First of all, you need a network plan. Then there's the event itself. At the meeting, whether it's one-on-one with a doctor or physio or whoever, or online or in person. At the meeting, then there's a debrief. I know very few people, if any, that actually debrief after the network event. Then there's a follow-up plan. You need a follow-up plan, and you need to keep record. So let's look at the network plan first. I don't know how many of you know Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I highly recommend it. I learned it when I was 8 years old, and it definitely have formed the basis of much of my success through my life. So one of his 7 habits of highly effective people is to start with the end in mind. So always envision the end game when you go to the networking event. Put pen to paper. Metaphorically, nowadays we do a lot digitally, but put pen to paper and be event specific. So when we go to an event, in our professions, all of our professions, time is money. If you're out of the practice for other things, you don't make money. So where and when will the event be, and how much will it cost me time-wise, petrol-wise, since the petrol's going up so high? What will it cost me to spend time on this networking event? Why? Sorry. Let me just go back. Why do I want to go to that event, or why do I want to meet that person? The why is always very, very important. How can I add value to what is happening? So many people go to this event, but you didn't think how you came to learn, but you didn't think you can actually, everyone has something to offer. So how can I add value to the meeting or to the event I'm going to? Sorry. What do I expect to get from the meeting? So that will be setting some goals. What do I want to get from this meeting? And then the who's. The who has two parts. So if it's an in-person networking event, you will probably want to know who will be there. So who are the kind of people that will be there, so I can prepare in terms of who I'm going to meet. And who do I want to meet is the second part, especially if it's a big event. Getting to meet everyone is difficult. So who are the specific ones that I would like to meet? Obviously, I want to meet everyone, but focusing on someone that sees my ideal client in terms of a networking event would be best. But even if I go to a one-on-one meeting an orthopedic surgeon, for example, the other day, his wife was the one communicating with me about the time slots. I knew it was his wife because of a news article when they welcomed him to the town. So I knew she will probably be there, the doctor will be there, and probably the other receptionist as well. So I prepare to, I will show you a bit later, the things that I use for network when I go to networking events as well. Just a little packet of tissues with my sticker on it. So I would need to take 2 packets of that because there will be 2 women in at the front desk, and then something for the doctor as well if you use those kind of products or when you go to networking events. So who do I want to meet and who will be at the event? Then at the meeting itself, whether it's a full-blown, lots of people meeting or a one-on-one meeting, you need to network like you. Don't try to be someone else, network like you. I focus on the 3 C's. So one is to be confident when you network. Provide good content. I'll show you a little bit later what the content that I take with or give to the person I network with. So provide proper content and common ground. So whenever, let's say I went to this orthopedic surgeon, immediately I looked around the practice, things that might be a common ground. There's a poster up of a golf player. So yes, I play golf. So I can bring golf into the conversation. Or there's a picture of their child. Say, oh, you're good. You have a child. What age are they? And in this case with the doctor, I asked, is he settling in nice in Secunda? So find some common ground that can help you with the small talk at the meeting. Then if it's a networking event, we do a lot digitally, but if there's a networking event, most of the time everyone takes their business cards with. At the Businesswomen Council, there were actually people that printed out business cards on just on a plain paper, and they just DC fixed it. That is not the best way to do it. It is not that expensive for cards. If you still use cards, I like using the cards, and I use it for appointment dates at the back. So, but it's fine if you do it digitally. But do spend some time on your card. Don't just do a plain simple one that spend some time and energy on thinking about your cards. Then, so when you go to an event, collect cards intentionally if you are taking cards from people. With the Businesswomen Council, we had everyone has a bowl at home that is just full of cards that you never use. It costs someone money, and you are basically going to throw it away. So if you like doing it digitally, then tell them, no, I don't need a card, but I will find you online, save that card or save the money on that card. But remember, cards cost money for someone. So don't take a card from someone if you are going to waste the card. And it's also okay if someone doesn't want to take your card. Then learn from introverts. So in terms of conversations, it's important that you have to be prepared to speak first, but let the person start the other person start the conversation. If you see it's uncomfortable for them starting, you can start with what you have prepared. But let people come to you, especially at events too. Let people come to you. And then listen and approach thoughtfully. Very important. Don't make it about you. Listen and show genuine interest. And then keep it manageable. Do what you can. I'm not a big crowd person, so it gets overwhelming for me if there's too many people around me and I need to meet everyone and talk to everyone kind of thing. I don't mind talking to people, but keep it manageable. So do what you feel comfortable with. Then some do's and don'ts. Let's start with the don'ts. When you are at an event, whether it's a one-on-one or again a big event, don't attend all events or meet everyone. We've touched on that already. Don't have a self-interest mindset. It is not all about you. Don't be a know-it-all. Most people don't like a know-it-all. So try to put that in the back pockets for that night or for that networking event. Don't ask for a job, a sale, or referral at the event. I would call it some part of the decorum for networking. You don't have to ask for a sale, referral during the event. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't hesitate to approach people or start the conversations. Be confident in terms of that. Don't keep score. It's important that you don't. Now, she only referred 2 people to me, so I'm not going to refer more than 2 people to her. Kind of thing. Don't keep score about who refers what to. You need to keep record of it, but don't keep score. And never leave too early or overstay. So it's important for you to find that fine line between the two. But there are some people who always come to the events, but they always have to leave early. So they don't really, people see that those are the ones that always leave early. They're not interested in meeting the people. And also don't overstay. Then some of the do's. All right. So first of all, arrive early. Very important. It gives you an opportunity to scout the room and to not feel so rushed when you get there. And it is embarrassing if you are late all the time. So make sure you arrive early. That's what I said with the scouting the room. I could sit back and while I wait for the doctor and see what's interesting things that they have up here, look for that common ground, that kind of thing. Always come prepared. So if you know there's a networking event and you booked it and you planned for it, make sure you prepared. Don't get your referral books the day after there was a networking event or you went to meet this person. And make sure you've got your business card or whatever resources you are using. And then I always say have an elevator pitch, like an little introduction that you always use. You should use it, practice it, but it shouldn't sound rehearsed though. When the people introduce themselves now in this networking event, none of you really told me why you do what you do. We always focus on what you do, but rarely people tell us why they do what they do. So see when you meet people to change that what I do a little bit to why I do what I do. So I like to help people improve their quality of life through exercise. I'm a big biokineticist who gives exercise to people. So people tend to connect sometimes a little bit better with you if they understand the why versus just the what. Do your research in terms of the people who will be there. That's part of being prepared. And okay, and then the next one, breaking the ice. So usually, especially with large events, breaking the ice with a conversation, ways you can say, you look like a friendly face. So I'll start by introducing myself to you. And then, but I always look what's going on in the news cycle during that time. So you can give good small talk. Maybe see what's going on in your industry or in someone that you will meet's industry. Compliments always work. So like you look like a friendly face, or I love your jacket or something like that. Always start with with good small talk, and have something in mind to break the ice with. Then body language. Body language is important on both sides. On your side, in terms of don't be fidgeting the whole time, don't sit with crossed legs or crossed arms the whole time, and not engaging with people. You can learn a little bit more. There's many videos available on body language. Smile, dress well, dress appropriately for the occasion. So I'm a biokineticist, and because of that, I can go in sweatpants basically and tackies. It would be kind of acceptable. But when I go to a networking event, I like putting on some heels. I don't get lots of opportunity to wear heels, so I would put on some heels and a nice top or something like that. So, but look at the body language, dress well, smile, ask questions, but also look at the person you're engaging with body language. Sometimes you can see that this person, they want to move on to someone else, and that's okay. That will happen. So be sure that you don't continue to waste their time while they are already not wanting to really engage. So look at your body language and the body language of the person you network with. Then show genuine interest. Make it about them. Seem curious, not nosy, but seem curious about them. Ask about their profession or what they do, what works for them, things like that. But show genuine interest. Credit your network. Always credit your network. If you heard about this event from, let's say, your partner, then say, my partner invited me to this event. Credit your network, and then people like Tasmin, who does all these the work. Credit the networks that provide you with this opportunity. Take a deep breath if you are nervous. So some people that networking is just not their thing, and that's okay, but you can actually learn how to do it better. And then take a network buddy with. So even if you meet one-on-one with a doctor or physio or whoever, you can take your receptionist with and introduce them as well. You can take a fellow bio or physio. It doesn't have to be from your practice necessarily. Book the appointment together to meet the doctor. You save their time and you can go together. So if you are nervous about these kind of things, take deep breaths and take a network buddy as well. Always have an exit strategy, whether it's one-on-one or at the network event. It was a pleasure meeting you. I just want to catch Charmaine before she leaves. If I don't see you later tonight, I hope we can see each other at the next event, or will I be seeing you at the next event? And then you can give that business card that has been burning a hole in your pocket. You can offer it at that stage. So very important that you have an exit strategy when you have to go. If it's a one-on-one meeting, my next appointment, I need to go because my next patient will be coming soon, something like that. But do prepare an exit strategy. And very important, have fun. Try to enjoy the network events. Then scheduling a debrief, very important. Most people don't do it. It's an opportunity to evaluate and establish a record. I think the reasons why most people skip it is because they don't want to make extra time for that. They don't create or use the right tools, and they don't understand the value of networking. So there's opportunity for you, not of networking, sorry, of debriefing. So when you debrief, you can actually identify any challenges that you might have had at the event, the value you offered or value you received, any surprises there were, maybe that you didn't expect. It can help you make better decisions for the next time, and it can give you some sense of closure after the event. So basically, was the event worth it is part of your debrief. What, so what, now what? It's an opportunity to reflect on the goals you set in your network plan. You can reinforce the value you offered. So basically internalize the intel that you got from the event as well. You can evaluate the resources that you use. So when I did go to this orthopedic surgeon, I forgot to take out the business card. So I gave him other things with my details on it, but I actually didn't give out the business card itself. You don't have to. But when I got home, I'm like, oh, I didn't give that. So that would be something that goes into my debrief. Chances of me forgetting it the second time when I go to someone else then is much lower. So important also not to compare your expectations versus the results after the network event. So will I attend or recommend this event again, whether online, in person, one-on-one meeting with the doctor? Will I attend it? And if not, why not? But it doesn't mean because you don't attend another event or think it's not worth it for you, that there might not be someone else in your network that can actually benefit from this kind of event or that kind of meeting. So who can I refer to this event for a next time? Then your follow-up. If you want to grow personally and professionally, always follow up. It's an opportunity to engage again. It can help you to plan ahead. And without a follow-up, you can't turn conversations into connections and into clients or referral partners or whatever you want to call it, or mentor or learning partners. So it's a great opportunity to turn those conversations into true connections. Now, part of the follow-up after one-on-one or again the event, you can send an email or a thank you note to the people who organized the event or the people you met at the event. I usually go invite them on LinkedIn if I met the people. Personally, I'm not a fan, although our businesses, we can have business pages on Facebook. Facebook feels more like the social part of things, so I rather stick with networking, inviting them on LinkedIn. Customize the messages. So LinkedIn has, for example, has the basic ones, standard ones that they put up, but it's important if you learn something new about this person or just personalize the message a little bit. Don't just use that custom message. Customize it for that person. Set up appointments, a next appointment. If you want to meet them again soon after, or you spoke about meeting again, then that's an opportunity to set up the appointment or invite them to the next event. Send resources. So she spoke about something, the physio spoke about an interesting article on the ankle. So I asked her to send it. So she sends me the resource, or if I told her about a great article on the ankle, I send that resource to that. It doesn't have to be only industry related. So I know someone, she's in, let's say she likes Legos. I saw she's into Legos. So if I see something about Legos, I will also send that to the person. But the follow-up is a great chance to send resources. The follow-up doesn't have to be like, for example, the thank you note in the email or the invite on LinkedIn can be in the first week after you met them. I wouldn't suggest longer than that. But setting up an appointment can be a week or two later, or sending resources. That doesn't have to be immediately, but it is an opportunity to follow up. And then update them on progress. So if they gave you some advice or you gave them some advice, the follow-up is a great opportunity to say, no, you told me about that thing and I went and looked at it and it is great. It's going to work so well for my practice, whether it's a personal thing or a practice kind of thing. It's an opportunity to follow up, to update them on progress. And also remember to give feedback to the organizers as well. I'm not offended if people say they didn't like something. And with the Business Women Council, they had to give me feedback a lot. So, but then I know how to improve the next event. So if you enjoyed the event or if there was something that bothered you, give feedback to the organizers as well. Then the right mindset in terms of networking, like I said, it's not a short-term investment. It's a bit of a long-term investment. It should not be a self-interest mindset and not a fearful mindset. But the most important ones for me is that persistence. We will all have setbacks with meetings. Maybe you introduce yourself and you weren't prepared to introduce yourself properly. So you will have those setbacks, but it's a time to refocus and then try again better at the next event. Positive realism. So be positive in your pursuit of results, but be realistic about what works for you, your profession, or your community and what doesn't. Be vulnerable. That's for many a difficult one. You don't want to share your failures or mistakes you made, because someone would then know you made these mistakes. But I say learn from other people's mistakes, so you don't have to make them all yourself. So be willing to share the mistakes you made. Hopefully they will share theirs as well, but be willing to share the mistakes that you made, because someone might really, really benefit from that experience. And then they don't waste the time to spending on that thing that might be considered a mistake at later stage. But if it was a mistake for you, it doesn't mean it was necessarily a mistake for someone else. Put aside regret. So this is a big one for me because I'm an overthinker. So then I would run through this thing. Oh, I should have done this, or I should have said this a million times. Learn through the debrief and with the right mindset to put aside regret. You did prepare. You attended the event. Everything didn't go as planned. That's okay. You did follow up. So if it was not what you wanted, then put your mind to the future and do better the next time. And that's why this debrief and keeping record is so important. Then the tools that you need to use, or you don't have to use my tools. I will send this to Tash, and it's in a Word format, so you can edit it as you like. But there's an action plan, basically. There's an event debrief. There's a follow-up schedule, and then the resources or profile updates. So if we quickly look at that, the action plan, for example, at the network event, I would put in my event details, the name, the location, the date, the time, the cost, my personal, what would be my personal objectives? My professional goals. So I would like to create sales opportunities, not make a sale or referral, but create a referral opportunity. And then personally as well, I want to learn about this from this meeting, and I want to grow and share with like-minded people. So include your professional goals, but also your personal goals. Who will attend? Who do I expect to attend? We don't always know. So, but who will attend? Who do I want to meet? So will there be an ideal client or employer on this networking event? Will there be a referral partner? What do I look for in a referral partner? For me, the best one, like I mentioned, is a physiotherapist probably. And is there a mentor or a learning partner? How can I add value? Is there something that you can offer? So most people would expect, for example, I'm a biokineticist, so I'm not going to be into presenting things like this, for example. So, but is there a way that I can add value to practice owners that's not necessarily directly connected to biokinetics? And then where do I need assistance or value? Maybe you're great at time management, but you suck at admin. So then what are the things that I might need assistance to, or need someone to help me with? So now someone introduced them, they mentioned something about an admin program or about something about admin, then that's the one I want to connect with because that is something that I can benefit from. Then having your event debrief. Do it quickly after the event. Don't, almost within 24 hours, I would say. Don't leave it for later, because then you tend to forget some of the details. So it's basically the event details, the distance traveled, the time spent, the cost. And you have to remember that you work out the cost in terms of your time-wise as well. So I always include what I would get for an hour consultation. If I was away for an hour from the practice, you need to include that kind of cost. The goals and objectives, what you expected, what actually happened, and the reason for the difference. How did I add value? What could people learn about me from this event? What did I learn about people, my customers, or competition, the marketplace, or connections? Will I attend this again? Why or why not? Would I recommend the event to someone? Who will I recommend it to? And any other notes, surprises, or challenges, or something like that. So that's the second one that you can use. You can edit it as you want. A follow-up schedule. Who do I want to follow up? When? How am I going to call them, email them, meet in person again? Do I want to learn or grow from them? Can I refer to them or can they refer to me? And where there is opportunities that are imminent. Then the resource or profile, you can draw it up again as you want to. But who did I meet? Which event I met them at? So you can quickly, now when you're at the next event, you can say, now I met you at that event because you made a note of it before the time. The resources you sent or that you received from them, notes on the connections. I remember they told me about the little girl going to the gymnastic championships. And next time I meet them, I can actually ask about that. And then their contact details, email, phone number, or whatever you want to use in terms of that. So this is the page that I created that I always take for the network events. It tells you a little bit, the first part, you can do it as you want. It tells you a little bit about my background, where I studied, when I completed my internship. I've been in private practice for 12 years. I've served on medical aid committees, a little bit of background. The services I offer in my practice, specifically, we all want to say, no, we do it all. So it's not ideal. People can know. So even though I put up orthopedics, general fitness, weight loss, disease management, I always tell them in this section, I tell them, I love seeing back. So I met with this orthopedic surgeon. He's into knees. He does knees. So the right answer would be for them to say, no, I love knees. But it's not, to be honest in terms of that. I do actually like the knees, but I told them I like seeing back patients, specifically scoliosis, for example, and I do focus on family sessions and group classes for rehabilitation. Then some of the practice principles, you can call it what you want. I work only on appointments, so I don't take walk-in clients. I like the difficult cases. People, when they say, no one's finding a solution, I like those kind of cases. I believe that multidisciplinary team services, the interest of the patient. I would focus on range of motion functionality, that's things and correct posture. So a little bit of practice details. You can shorten this as well. My practice information, where they can find me. Additionally, I always add that. It adds a little bit because you want to build a relationship. Knowing a little bit more about the patient can help. So I served on the National Business Council, 2 national business councils. I'm an animal rights activist. I have a passion for education. I like to assist organizations and businesses with business skills. I like creating digital designs, things like that can give a little bit background. So for this orthopedic surgeon, I mentioned him because it's the recent one I did. He actually has helped animal welfare for free with orthopedic operations. So the moment I mentioned animal activists, which you would not typically bring up in a network event, the conversation totally went over to that. And we both got so excited about helping the animals. And I then put him in connection with some of the vets and some of the people we use for animal welfare. So that starts already building a bit of a relationship. That has nothing to do with biokinetics, but it builds a little bit of relationship already that another biokineticist would probably not have had. So this is something you can combine. Then I always try to put in something that's a little bit different that I offer that makes me different from the other biokineticists, for example. So for a long time, I was the only one that offered rehabilitation on trampolines and offer yoga classes. And then I put in how the yoga helps people, specific cases maybe, and how, not mentioning the patient, but how the yoga might help people. So putting something in which is a little bit more to your niche. And then kind requests, for example, people will go to the doctor and then tell them, no, the exercises didn't work. So I ask them then that kind request, please ask the patient if they've done exercises 3 times a week for 6 weeks. Otherwise, they can't say it doesn't work. Or if it's a Sasolmed employee that needs to come to me for fitness, send them before they go for the fitness test. Things like that. So this is something you can compile, you can hand in, you can laminate it if you want, but I think it might be a little bit of waste. So I just print this out in a high quality ink, and then I take that to the meeting. So basically, networking is an investment in your business, and you should see it as such. It takes time, but when done correctly, it can yield great results for years to come. Effective networking is an acquired skill. Not everyone has it, but anyone can actually learn it. thank you for your time and for joining us for this. I hope that you have found this helpful. Please share your experiences. There's my details. You're welcome to contact me directly as well, or give feedback to Tash. Most of what I've learned about networking comes from intentional growth strategies, their resources that I use, and obviously images, pixels, Pixabay, and canva.com. All right.
Thank you so much, Ancois. That was such a comprehensive presentation. And I don't know if are there still a few that was able to stay, because I know we've gone a little bit over time. But those of you who are still here, if anybody wants to say anything or ask anything, you're welcome to unmute, and then we'll close off. So I don't know if there's, let me just check the gallery.
Tasneem, I have a question. So I've attended other webinars and online meetings and things with regards to networking, not okay, you could say specifically for health, but like, for example, with my lactation course. And so one of the ones that I attended recently was how to open your own lactation practice and stuff. And one of the presenters mentioned that she would take a little care package to the doctors. So, a cup with a hot chocolate or a cappuccino and a chocolate. And then obviously still have her business cards and whatever she intends to put in there with her branding and, contact details and things like that. And so I've been thinking for a while, I don't know how appropriate it is, but it does sound like a good idea at the same time, because I'm obviously planning on now, going to doctors' offices and things like that, and doing a similar thing, not putting so much focus on what you're giving the person, but just like a sort of thank you, for seeing me, that type of thing. I don't know what would you advise against that, or are you for it, or what do you think about that?
Ancois, do you want to answer the question?
Yes. No. Okay. So, obviously, you don't want to seem like you're bribing them or anything like that. But I don't think there's a problem with that. I do that. I will show you now what I usually take with. Okay. It's most of them are less than R4 when you actually buy or print it or buy it. It doesn't have to be something major. But I do like something that maybe they will see often soon after. So I've got these little, I don't know if you can see. Can you see my?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see that.
Yes.
So it's little tissues that you buy for R2 a packet, and I printed my sticker and I put the sticker on. So for the receptionist also, I would take. Most of the people, they go to the doctor and they forget about the receptionist, and your receptionist can be very beneficial for you, because she's the one who might spend more time actually with the patient than maybe the doctor while they're sitting there. So then I would take for the receptionist, I would take some tissues, or the females, if it's females, I've got the little key rings that you can just have something for men because you can give them tissues, but they might not like the tissues so much. So getting something that you can give to the males. Now, people can be very, very particular about their key rings or what they want to use. So then I've got these little small badges. Oh, very just like a 5 rand size almost. I love exercise. So if they have kids, I would take the kids badges with. Kids love the badges. So that's something. It's got my details on it, and I love exercise. Like some of the teenagers put all those badges on their suitcases or something like that. So, or if I also give this. So if a patient came to me, for example, I would give them some tissues. If it was a female, or a key ring, if they just as something extra to give when I see them. Sometimes I forget. That's one of the resources I forget to give. But that's something to use. And then obviously your business cards, that page that I set up. And then my booklets are like this. So I've added an extra strip here at the, it's basically on the last page. It just comes out a little bit. So when the doctor puts all the other books on each other, my book comes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something that I use that I haven't seen someone else here use as well. But then it's easy for them to reference in terms of that. So you have to think that small things that can set you a little bit apart from the other ones. I like the coffee mugs a lot. I like coffee, but also it's something that they will see frequently. So if it's a very nice cup and you take for the receptionist, sometimes it might be a little bit more expensive if you take for the whole practice, but that is something that they are going to see frequently. Now she's drinking coffee there while the patients are sitting there, and by accident, someone sees your coffee cup with your logo on it. So I do like the coffee mugs, but you can obviously use anything. These are the basic ones that I use, but you can use anything.
Thank you so much. That was such a comprehensive response.
That's some great ideas there. And, the thing is, I actually had somebody ask this in the academy as well, in one of our coaching calls. And I always say, the thing is when you're going to see potential referrers, like you're going to see the doctors and that, you must remember that this sounds harsh, but you are unforgettable, really, in the grand scheme of things, right? And so you have to ask yourself, they don't owe you anything. So you need to almost remove as many obstacles as possible from the pathway of referral. And that means you need to make yourself memorable. You need to make, you need to make it easy for them to refer. So I actually always recommend the idea of giving a referral pad. So, you want it because now, the thing is now say they have a patient in front of them. And then it's now they must still write down the details or ask the receptionist for the details. Whereas if they have your referral pad there, and it can just be with the HPCSA allowed stationary requirements, what details are on there, and just a pad and what's nice is if you have a practice where you require specific information, because they're going to give the referral sheet to the patient. So they'll just say on you can put on there something that where you can ask what you want the doctor to note on the pad that obviously the patient can see, and they just have to write a few words and give it. So they're making it easy for them to refer to you. And also if you are going to give gifts, the Ancois examples are really cute, clever things that she says they're going to see all the time. But also you want to think if you are in a unique kind of thing like lactation consulting, how can you get a little bit quirky and funny and something that's memorable, So, and obviously you have to go according to what's your personality. If you're not a quirky person, then maybe don't go that route. But other examples are pens with your details on. Everybody always wants pens.
Just make sure it is a good quality pen, that it doesn't stop writing after 2 days.
Yeah, so things like that. I mean, I've had somebody that once gave it was a thing that you put your pens in, but it looked almost like the shape of boobs, because they deal specifically with breast cancer patients and things like that. So the thing looked like boobs, but you put your pens in there. So it's a little bit quirky and funny, but that makes the person memorable. Do you know what I mean? But you are allowed, and it is a good idea to do something like that.
Thank you so much. And I am definitely quirky, so I will take up some of those ideas.
Yeah. You're talking about lactation consulting, so maybe you do something around the theme of milk, or, something like that, something related. That's, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay, great. So, Ancois said she's going to send, I have the presentation already, and I have all your email addresses from when you registered to the Zoom. So I will just send you a copy of the presentation. And then, Ancois, you said you're going to send also that action plan.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll send that to you guys as well, so that you can put it into action. So that's the main thing of all this thing. I'm guilty of that as well. I attend all these webinars and things, but then the key thing really is you need to actually try and implement. So make it a challenge to yourself that, the next time you have an opportunity to network, to actually refer back to this and put this into action and see the results. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I will put the recording of this up into the event page of the Facebook group, so you will be able to watch it all over again as well. Have a good day, everyone.